sort myself with this thing. No course.
Episode 42.
41,
No, 42. So, young Maximus here. It was my very first episode. Max is my son and heir, my oldest son. So, just did a quick midweeker. Talk about MMA, talk about jiu-jitsu. And, so,
story.
how's the training going, Max? How's your training going?
It's going good. We're trying around a little injury in particular, but still going well. Getting the injury and all looked at. Got a scan, got an MRI today in it, and I've been training with an ankle that has been partially broken the past 4 months, and I feel like a bleeding dope, but it is what it is. I'm gonna should get a call either tonight or tomorrow about it to see what needs to get done. If it needs to get injected, needs to get operated on, it's gonna be one of the two. He said it's beyond rehab apparently, just because it's a bit too big for me boots, and decided to try hold out on the heel hook. So tap the heel hooks. It's a good idea, or you'll just end up like feeling like a bleeding retard like me. Yeah.
So it's fractured and then broken as well.
So he said it's either a minor break or a bad fracture down the lower part of the ankle. Then in the upper part of the ankle, it's a minor break. So it's either 2 breaks or 1 break or 1 fracture, one of the two. So yeah.
That was in the Sanctuary Sports Clinic.
Sanctuary Sports Clinic. I went to loads of different. I went to Vinnie Mulvey, and he said he reckoned it was ligament damage, which it was. He said my ligaments are intact, but they're a bit damaged. Went down to Adam as well, down in Charlestown. He said my I went there. He says the dorsiflex that was causing the dorsiflex of my ankles, my ankle flexibility, that was causing the pain. I worked loads on that and got my ankles really flexible and nice movement in them. And it's still in pain. I was like, what's wrong? It's like I'd be going down to work and walking around, and I'd come home, wouldn't even be able to walk, and I'd swell up like a balloon. I was just like, what's wrong with this? And I just trained around it for 4 months. Then my wrestling coach Sergey was like, you need to get that scan, you need to get that checked out. It's not normal for it to go on that long. And I'm just kind of thinking to myself,
but plus it was hard as well. With COVID, it was hard to get scans. Yeah, it was hard to get stuff done, so it wasn't the easiest thing to get sorted out.
It was like just choosing to train like while being in pain, because it's just like I've almost gotten used to the pain, you know. It's like a little consistent pain always in my ankle, and then occasionally it gets really bad where I can't walk on it, just by doing simple stuff like going on a walk, walking around for too long.
You can't run either.
Can't run on it, can't do any crazy movements, but I'm still managing to train hard, wrestle hard, grappling, MMA, strike. I'm still managing to do all that type of stuff handy enough. But I just think it's funny because I'm on the phone with my granddad there, and here's a little story of this. Something similar happened to him a few years back when he was actually cycling past Sanctuary as well, and he fell off his bike and real bad pains in his wrist, he said, and he told me he just got a sponge, I think it was a kitchen sponge, around each side of the wrist, and he just got a load of tape and he just taped it all up, and rode a bike race. I can't remember, do you know the name of the bike race?
Tour of Ireland.
He won it.
No, coast to coast, sorry.
Coast to coast, was it? Yeah. He won it, and still in pain. I think he told me a week or 2 later, and he went to the hospital, got x-rayed, and he ended up breaking it in 3 places. So it's kind of the same story. But
I think in MMA or sport in particular as well, you can be like it hasn't been like it swells up like a bit,
Swells up a good bit.
Swells up a good bit.
Then you just have to throw it in a loud voice until I can't even feel.
But you haven't been using painkillers.
I
haven't been using painkillers, so it's not like you're taking painkillers to train or anything. No. You haven't been using any painkillers. It's just ice, train.
That's it. Just bite your tongue and just do it.
So it looks like things are loosening a tiny bit. Training is back on down Charlestown Poppentry Park from tomorrow on. We see Cage Legacy is coming up, and Clan Wars are up in May. How do you feel about that?
I feel like I'm ready. I suppose I'm matched on Cage Legacy for May 22nd. I'm unsure if we go ahead in Ireland, but hopefully if it gets moved up to Newry or some place like that, be game ball for it. I'm ready, prepared, just just confirm it, just confirm it with me and I'll just bleed and have a trainer. It's just training. It's like, makes no difference to me. It's like I'm always training. I'm never not training. It's like I don't need time. You could bleed and text me next week, here, fight today, fight next week, fight in 3 days, and I'll just be ready, That's because I'm always in training camp. It's the reality of it. It's just train and just recover.
And you have, if people are getting freaked out going, how's he training? You have paperwork to allow you to train.
Papers.
So you have your papers to allow you to train, so that's how you're allowed to train from your body.
Salty bleeding football flags in the bleeding comments. Wonder why I'm training and they're not allowed.
Yeah. And how are you finding you doing your strength and conditioning program? How are you finding that?
Oh, I feel like I'm way more explosive doing it with Philly McMahon.
He's sending you the program to do.
Sending me the program to do it in the house. Been doing it and I've seen major changes in my body, me explosive burst power. I feel a lot more bigger and a lot more powerful and a lot more technical in certain areas, especially in my wrestling, than I did last year. And so I'm doing, comparing myself last year, 2 years ago, and it's like I'd skilled myself like from this time last year. If you put about Max from 2020 and then Max from 2021, it's bleeding kill Max from last year, And it's always good to see. It's always good to see like the progression and everything, Everything just kind of clicks in together, and you actually properly have been going down to Collie down at DCA and then down to Owen and Charlestown, and it's like I can really see progression in certain areas, especially my striking, because the striking was the hardest bit to kind of go into, because from my point of view, I'm going from being a really, really high level kind of grappler and wrestling and jiu-jitsu, and I'm beating everyone and I'm in my little safe zone. Then it's once you kind of take a step outside your safe zone, that's how you know if it's in you or not, And if you go and take a step outside your safe zone and some boxer punches you back inside your safe zone, you know what I mean? It's whether you're gonna keep going to try get comfortable in a new area. And I feel like I'm getting more, still loads to work on. Still get the head jabbed at me every day, but it's just working on progression, just working on getting better in any way I can, which is the most important thing. So
one of your training partners, Craig Coakley, is fighting on Victory Promotions this weekend. So if anybody wants to look at one of the most dangerous strikers, probably the most dangerous striker in Ireland at the moment, Craig Coakley, his pay-per-view is, what's it, a tenner?
10 quid, yeah.
10 pound.
Something like that,
get on to Victory Promotions there on Instagram. Get on to Craig Coakley's Instagram and support him in this, because it'll be something decent to look at. There's a good few matches on that card, so check out Craig on that. Yeah. Craig was on the podcast as well. I think he was number 35 or 34, some episode 34. He's in there anyway on YouTube. Check out Craig's story. But Victory Promotions, Craig Coakley, check him out on Instagram and pay the tenner if you want to look at some skilled violence.
Look at some violence. Look at some bloody violence.
Yeah, it's nice.
Some calculated violence.
Nice to look at.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Nice to look at. And you're enjoying it down with Collie and the lads?
Oh yeah, 100%. I haven't been out them the past week though, but no, I'm really enjoying it. Nice vibe out there. It's hard training, no messing, you know what I mean? It's just getting in, getting your work done, which is the most important thing, and you're having fun with the lads as well while doing that. Good few heads like Shane, Dennis, few good heads out there, Craig, Tarek as well, like a few good heads out there. So it's nice to be able to move around with different type of bodies, lots of different body like shapes there. You've the real lanky, the short kind of stocky, the real rangy. Like it's really good to mix around with the different body types for me. Like wanting to always take someone down or maybe even strike with people. It's nice to get a feel for different types of like bodies and all, you know. So I love going down there. I love training with loads of different people. Obviously it's a bit bleeding weird right now with COVID and all, but it's like trying to not let that like affect anything, you know.
They're all pro fighters down there, so they all have their paperwork, so they're all allowed to train. Yeah, they're allowed to train as well. In case anyone's gone, how are they training? They're all professionals. They have their paperwork.
All professionals
to train for their bodies from their fight promotions.
I don't think any Karens follow you in any way.
So yes, you'd be amazed, horse. You'd be amazed. And how do you think? How has the lockdown affected you and your friends? Kind of being able to do stuff, and
it's just tell you what.
I try not to curse.
Do my best. It's I think lockdown is almost like for people my age. It's like for my age I was always training anyway, so I just found another way to train. Like even over last lockdown, never let it affect me. I go on cycles with a few of my mates. Try keep a distance with them when we were in the kind of height of it, and then just go and do Zoom sessions with Sergey as much as I could. So definitely, if I was going to say over lockdown, I probably got even more fit than I was before lockdown, you know. I just gave myself another challenge to overcome, something else to work on, and that's what I find loads of people kind of struggle with. And at least sometimes for me, what I'll do is I have a little notepad. Even I've only been doing it recently, but I'll pick something and I'll work on that until I have it down pretty well, and then once I have it down pretty well, I'll try it. It's like people, it's almost like you have to use moments like lockdown to like work on yourself or other things, you know. You don't just let the time waste. Just I just use that as time to develop and time to upgrade almost. It was like a nice little breakaway from everything, nice little breakaway from school, almost like a nice little breakaway for society now. Now it wrecked a few people's heads with mental health and all that, but I just used that as time for myself to upgrade, for myself to improve, and for people my age that aren't able to do as much, there is ways, you know what I mean. There is ways to. It's not like you're like trapped in it, like in your room. You're not allowed to go out, like, you know what I mean. You can go out, you can do stuff. Whether you're a Gaelic player, a hurling player, a boxer, rugby player, whatever it is, there always is something to work on, and it's just whether it's up to you if you want to do that work or not, like, you know. Simple as. I think if you really want something and you're really passionate about something, like, you'll do it. Like, you'll never come across somebody doing something they love and they don't want to do it, like, you know what I mean. They'll always sacrifice something, whether that's time, whether that's people, you know what I mean, just to get extra, just to improve in any sort of way. They'll sacrifice time, they'll sacrifice people who aren't good for them, they'll make all those little sacrifices if they get to do the thing that they love doing, like, you know. So it's as simple as that. It's just actually getting to it. Now I know, like, the first week of lockdown I was loving it, wasn't doing that, and then I kind of came to the conclusion that this is going to go on a lot longer than 2 weeks, like they said. They say 2 weeks to flatten the curve. I was like, that's not happening. This is gonna be going on for a while. So that's when I just put the realisation into my head and just continue to work, you know. It's just, right. That's all.
And with the striking, so mostly we're doing like MMA striking,
yeah.
And you boxed in a few boxing clubs, you did a few in-house boxing fights.
Only had like 2 or 3 or something, yeah.
2 or 3, yeah. So how, this is what I'm going to ask you, between the in-house boxing fights and now striking with knees and elbows, how are you finding that?
I think,
is it much different? Is it?
in MMA, it's a lot different to how you box. And what I realised, and it's a lot different, just even if you're putting jiu-jitsu into aspect, I think jiu-jitsu is a sport where there's always progression in something. So you take someone down into full guard, that's a progression. You pass the guard, that's a progression. And you get to a progression, you progress, progress, and you get to a point where it's finished. Make sense? But in striking, it's almost like you're going in, you're getting your range, 1, 2, back out, and then you're resetting. It's like you're processing and then you're resetting. It's like you're like progressing, resetting. That's how I kind of put it in my head. So it's like find the rage of someone, I bang them about 3 or 4 shots, I exit, and then I go back into range. That's like you progress, that's something, you tag them, you hurt them, and then you reset. Makes sense? So in jiu-jitsu, the difference between it is like you're progressing, then you're finishing. So it's a lot more difficult, even at the like grappling side of it. It's like taking someone down to punch their head in. I'm not taking them down to like submit them down, like, you know. That's not the goal. The goal is to kind of not to hurt people. Well, actually, it is to hurt people, but like in a technical way. You know what I mean? You want to technically embarrass someone, like just demoralise them almost. If you like take them down and want to keep them there, you know. But in the difference between, I think, between MMA striker, between everything, there's just so much more tools you need to be wary of. I think for me to come across a striker, I'm going to be fearing his strikes, he's going to be fearing my wrestling. That's what makes it a match. That's what makes it an exciting match. Like the tools that are involved, it's like whose tools are going to be more effective, you know. It's like who has the better arsenal, who's the better weapons, and who has like more heart to like do better. Like just like it's always the person, I think, who, if you give someone more to think about when you're like fighting them, they're obviously you're putting more problems and more obstacles that they have to overcome. So it's like when I'm striking, I try to put in as much wrestling exchanges, I'll try to mix in the grappling, so they're fearing the takedown, and when they're fearing the takedown, I come up with a few shots. It all mixes in with each other, so it's a lot different than just boxing. When I'm boxing, I'm not a boxing expert, but it's like you almost want to just hit your combinations, move off, hit your combinations. You're not fearing any low kicks, you're not fearing any takedowns, so it's all right. And then in Muay Thai, you're worrying about knees, elbows, kicks, punches, but you're not worrying about any kind of takedowns or anything like that. But in MMA, it's like you're worrying about everything, so it does definitely alter your like striking style a tiny bit. So you obviously like have to worry about more things. But yeah, that's like wide kind of fair, like, if it makes sense with striking going into MMA, you know. It's just you have to focus like almost on everything. So.
And who's giving you good rounds down in Owens?
Everyone. It's everyone. I think there's not like.
Who are you learning off down in Owens?
I'm learning off Jerry. I'm learning off everyone. There's always. I'm never like walking away from a round being like, yeah, there's nothing to learn off him. Whether it takes them to say it to me, I'll either figure it out myself. It's one or the other. It's either someone says, here, do you know why I keep getting caught? And if, say for instance, whatever reason I spar someone, I get bleeding, picked apart, and I don't know why I got picked apart, I'll find out myself, you know. It's just important that, like, just how many people out with egos. I'm just fucking, I get battered. I've been battered before, like, you know what I mean, by loads of people, even at my outflow by one stage, you know what I mean. Believe it or not, but fucking, it's like you almost wanna like not have that big hot-headed almost. Just take your bleeding digs, take your medicine, and that's what the gym's for. You know what I mean? That's what training's for. That's what I always say. And then fighting's for all that type of all that other stuff. But when I go to train, I go to learn. I don't go to fight. I don't go to try batter people. Like, I just go to learn. Like, you know. So it's just important that you don't kind of go in like hot-headed, like, you know what I mean? Don't go in looking emotional. And that's one thing I remember when I used to start striking and I'd get digged in the mouth or something, I'd be like, right, hands up, walk them down. That's all I do, and I'd probably even get even more of a hiding by doing that. But all I've been working on the past while is just being able to take one on the forehead, take one on the nose even, and just stay calm, either take a few back steps for a change and just try and move off, hit combinations, move my head a tiny bit more. There's so much there to work on, but I think I have all the time to do it, you know. I've so long to like work on things, I've so much time.
So you're 17 now, you're 18 in August.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to do a lot more stuff.
Exactly. Be able to, hopefully at one stage I definitely want to move over to America for a year or two, just to either wrestle, train, MMA. There's so much things that I want to do, and I'm still only 17. Like, I've all the time, but at the moment it's just the little things I'm trying to work on. I can never follow through with like a big goal, if that makes sense. I can only ever do little goals, and all them little goals add up to a big goal, you know. It's like little things, it's like weekly goals that I have for myself. What am I going to do this week that no one else is doing? You know, how am I going to improve this week? How am I going to get better than this, that and the other, you know? It's just, that's all that kind of goes through my head, you know.
And Sergey, then, to mention Sergey's been kind of a central part in your
100%.
grappling and wrestling.
Grappling, wrestling, cardio.
How do you feel since you started with Sergey in SPG headquarters, and you haven't left him since?
Yeah,
how has he changed what you do?
He's changed a lot. He's changed how I train, how I approach a session. He's changed so much. He's not just a coach to me, he's almost like a second dad as well. Like, it's very like good bond with Coach Sergey, like, so he's definitely played a huge part in like my role as just an all-round person, not even just grappling, just a person. Like, I'll go into him on a Thursday occasionally, usually a Friday for sparring, and then on the Saturday he tries to bleed and kill me on an assault bike. Like, nearly put me into, nearly thought I was going to bleed and have cardiac arrest bleeding walking into the change room there last Saturday. But it's almost, I think you need them types of people, you know. Like, you need someone like that. You need someone just to be on your case all the time, and he is on my case all the time, and I couldn't thank him more for it, like, you know. He's a huge part in not just me as a fighter, but just a person, you know.
And that Russian style of wrestling has influenced you a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
The old Soviet style.
Yeah, it's just mixed. It's just, I like to wrestle. It's like, I've definitely, majority of my stuff is all that kind of Moldovan, like Russian kind of style.
Like hand ties and hand fighting.
Exactly. It's just simple little small details, and it's almost like I don't even realise that I'm doing them anymore, you know. That's how like kind of deep I am. Like, I'm in wrestling now, you know. But it's such a beautiful sport if you look at it. And Sergey's really passionate about it, you know. And the only thing I want to do is just make him proud as a coach, you know. That's all. It's the most important thing, I think. Just to not let your coaches down. They're sacrificing, they're putting time into you. They can't do it all, you know. You need to try to work your coach, you know. If the coach is doing more than you, you need to kind of like think to yourself, okay, what am I doing wrong here, you know. That's important. Definitely.
And before COVID, so the last event you done was Grapple Kings. You were supposed to be on BJJ Outlaws, which hopefully, when all these older people get vaccinated and they start opening up the country, shout out to Kieran Davern.
Oh yes.
And a few of the lads putting on grappling shows. Who would you like to be matched up against on one of them shows?
I'd like to be matched up against not just a fight that I'd like to see, but just other people would like to see, you know. Not just, I don't have anyone in particular. There was a few people, but like I haven't really heard or seen a whole lot of them. So I'll just let whoever they put up against me. I'd like a high level purple, brown belt, maybe even a black belt. I wouldn't really care, just as long as it's a fight that people would want to see, you know. There's no point in putting me against some little blue belt that they know I'm gonna rinse, like, you know what I mean. You want to see a fight where it's like almost it's evenly matched, it's exciting, you're like, oh, I want to look at that. I actually want to buy pay-per-view and look at that fight. That's how exciting it is. That's what people want, you know. So if I can get matched against someone that makes everyone else happy, I'll be happy, whether that's someone rinsing me or me rinsing someone else. I honestly don't care anymore. It's grappling, it's minor. I'm looking to compete, and it's like, competing gets you better, competing gets you experience, and experience is valuable. So whoever. It's just, I don't care. I never do care. I don't care about weight. I don't care about belt, age, nothing. Just, if you want to match me up, and I'll be there. It's as professional as it gets.
So, please give us your your Instagram handle, Maximus.
We don't even know.
Maximus.
Something just.
I'll put it on the end of this.
Yeah.
Max is on Twitter as well.
I don't even know my Twitter account. I'm brilliant for social media, but
yeah, Max is on Twitter. I'll put his Instagram handler on this. Max is my son. So
John is my dad.
When Max was younger, he used to love getting into vans. He used to love. Remember the big red van he used to have?
This reminds me of it.
And your little feet used to be dangling off the seat, buzzing around in the driveway.
I'm just like a little fucking.
What's the language?
Bear lady going all around the house.
So anyway,
you're only saying watch the language because you know Mam's watching this, and if
please
she sees,
like,
she'll kill me.
Please subscribe. Come here.
Mom,
he thinks he's Mr. Badass MMA fighter. He goes in there after coursing on this. It doesn't matter. His ma's gonna take him downtown.
Upend me. She upended me this morning for not cleaning my room.
So
that's the thing. That's all I wake up to. I don't wake up to a good morning, Max. The smell of this room. That's all I wake up to every day. I think she's on a streak now of like 7 days of just criticising me on my room or something, criticising something.
I have to tidy up.
That's what she said. She actually said to me last Tuesday. I came in from work and my ankle's broken in one place and potentially broken in another. And she walks up to me and goes, "There's nothing wrong with that ankle." That's what she says to me.
She's old school. She said, "Walk it off. Don't be a wuss." Anyway, please like, subscribe to our YouTube channel. The link is in the bio above. I'll tag Max in this. Just got him out for a chat because there looks like it's looking a bit better from the grappling front. So
from sport.
Ireland. Anyone on Clan Wars wants him to jump on the show, he'll jump on your show. 100%. Any grappling events in the north, he'll travel up. He'll take a match against anyone.
100%.
Weight wise, you know what I mean? Not ridiculous weight wise, but in and around. He'll purple belts, brown belts, black belts. He'll take a match. So thanks for listening. Please subscribe. Please leave a comment below this. Maximus, one thing I wanted to say to you before we leave.
Yeah.
There's like a little battle going on in our house. So Maximus and Christian have really embraced tea drinking the past while.
Yeah.
And they go out shopping with my wife. And I always used to get Yvonne, or I used to buy Barry's tea bags. Now Max and Christian are forcing her to buy Lions tea bags.
Yeah, because your ma drinks Lions.
No.
Your ma drinks Lions.
Now, I just want...
I don't know what he's
comment on this, right?
He's grown up drinking Lions.
No, never. Always Barry's. Always Barry's.
You've grown up drinking Lions.
Get up there. Always Barry's. Always Barry's. I
think your ma boys Brian Lions. Yeah, she does.
He's a weirdo. He drinks Lions.
Yeah, he's grown up drinking Lions. I don't know why he's getting
Lions tea are real watery or something.
No, it's not.
And Barry's tea has a bit of oomph about it.
It doesn't have a bit of oomph about it.
I think, right, this is what I think. Message in the comments below if you think. I think when you look into a Lions, when you make a cup of Lions tea, it looks like a urine sample.
No, it doesn't. Barry looks like a big cup of warm milk.
I think
Barry's
put hair on your chest. Comment below. Lions tea, Barry's tea. Let me know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love you, man.